This is part 3 of a series of, I guess you could say, backyard project vlogs. And in this video, I'm going to show you how this is not professional advice, how I have built this retaining wall. So, first off, like I said before, this is not professional advice. This is just my first foray into using concrete and mortar. And my dad actually did this to sort of get me a starting experience on using concrete and mortar, because in the future I might be doing some other projects that might require a bit more perfection, like, I don't know, building a house. But for now, we're starting on baby steps, and you can see all these, actually a ton of imperfections that I have to learn from. So in this video, I'm just going to talk to you about how to mix the mortar, what I've learned in trying to build this retaining wall, and after that I'm going to show you our riverside bamboo project. Okay, so let's get to mixing the mortar. So mixing the mortar is actually very simple. All you have to do is get mortar. In this case, get mortar, not concrete, but get mortar. And you want to take, for now, we'll deal with a scoop. And you want to get some water. Now, how much water and how much mortar depends really on how consistent you want it. And for this, it's really a matter of trial and error. You want it to be not too thick and not too thin. And what I mean by that is we're gonna take this trowel and we're gonna mix it. What you want to do is that's not enough. You want to make sure that the resulting mix is able to stick on your trowel at an angle and sort of slide off. And I'm going to try to demonstrate it here. I'm not sure if this is mixed well yet, but yeah, that's good. According to me, that's good. But you want to sort of get to that consistency. And when I talk about consistency, you want to make sure that you know what mistakes can happen if you don't have the right consistency. If your mix is too thick, when you apply it to the concrete, it's not gonna stick well. It's not gonna be very adhesive. If it's too thin and it's very watery, then your concrete is gonna balloon up. And let's see, I'm not sure if I have an example here of it ballooning up, but basically what I mean by ballooning up is it just comes out the sides when you try to put it in. So you want to make sure that you get the right consistency, and when it's too thick, you add water, and if it's too thin, you add concrete mix, or if it's too thin, then you can wait a while, come back, and it should be a bit thicker. So I guess we could speed this up while I'm mixing this, but it shouldn't be that long. Let's see if this goes more. And what my dad likes to do is he likes to keep one section of this, what do you call it? Not a pan, but like this mixing thingy. He likes to keep one section of this mixing thingy. He likes to keep part of it water and part of it the mix, so that he always starts a bit thicker and he can just add water on layer, so he doesn't have to keep going to the bucket and adding water. So I think this is the consistency that you want it. Actually, it's not sliding. Hold on. I think that's about right. It might be because the trowel itself isn't flat, so hold on, let's try that. I think it's about the right consistency. To me personally, I have a huge margin of error because I'm a beginner, but for someone like my dad, he might do a bit of changes. Maybe he might make it a bit thinner. I'm not sure. He told me that it's supposed to slide off, but as you can see, it's not sliding off that well. Anyway, let's take this, and what we're gonna do is we're going to have some, in my case, very terrible handling of a trowel, but as I've learned, I get a bit better of it as I go on. That's not a good way to phrase it, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the trowel, we're gonna take a sliver of it. Hold on. First, we want to make sure that the surface that we put the mortar on is clear. So if your surface is not clear, some contaminants can get into the mortar, and it can make its adhesive ability work less. So I'm just going to smooth it out. And another thing is, because it's a hot day right now, it's probably not going to stick as well. So we're just going to make the surface a bit wetter. And from what I can tell, we haven't mixed enough of the concrete, so I'm just going to use more from here. Okay, so that's enough for one brick. And mind my rambling in this video, I'm a beginner, so I don't really know what to cover and everything. So right now, we're just going to take our trowel, and we're just going to take a sliver of it, and then we're going to apply it. And when I first started out, I tried to smooth out all the mortar before I put the brick on. And my dad told me that really you don't have to do that, because when you put the brick on, it flattens it by itself. So you don't have to spread it out like this, which is what I'm doing. But you don't have to do that, because the brick, its weight causes all the mortar to balloon out. So you can tell that if you have a too thick mix, it's not going to be able to spread out. And if you have a too thin mix, then it's going to come out all the sides. So like I said before, you want the right consistency. And we'll just put that there. And another tip I've learned while working with this retaining wall is that you should probably get some clothes that you very much prefer that you can get dirty and wear them, like these torn jeans. I'm not sure about the shirt, but there's definitely jeans like these. You definitely want to use them. It's something that you probably don't care about getting dirty. It's more personally towards me, because in my mind, I think that it's going to be a bit bad if you accidentally spill some mortar mix onto your pants. Maybe you don't want to put that in the washing machine. I might not know that from experience, but I'll ask my dad later about it. But anyway, I'm going to add just a bit more of mortar onto here. And after this, we're going to put the brick on. Now, you can tell how much mortar you put on after you put the brick on, because you can see how tall the brick is. Because you can see, I say because you can see a lot, but just bear with me here. What you want is you want to take a leveler or a flat piece of wood, and you want to make sure that all your bricks are level. So I actually did not know for sure that this was level, so it's pretty much a relief to see that this is all okay. What you want to make sure is that when you put your next brick on and you put the level, that it's level. So we're going to haul this brick up. I think it's about 20 or 30 pounds. Like they always say, lift with your legs, and hopefully it's not too bad. Now, I'm just gonna brush this off. Actually, I'm gonna apply some water to it, because I can see that it's a bit dirty. I mean, thankfully, I'm a beginner, so it's not all too unusual to see a beginner rambling about. And now we're just going to put it on. Alright, so another thing about putting it on, the next thing you want to look out for is the space in between that you put the bricks. So, according to the bag, I'm not sure where exactly it says it, but according to the bag, you should have around half an inch to a quarter of to an inch of space between the bricks. So a good guide to use is your finger, like this. You want to put it in between, not squish the brick onto your finger, but you want to use it as a guide to see where you want to put the brick on. All right. Now we're going to take our level, and so from what I can tell, this brick right here is actually not level with this one. But I think I'm a beginner, so I'm pretty okay with mistakes. And after all, after we put on all the bricks, what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna cover all of it with, I think, concrete or mortar. So you're not gonna see all these ugly mistakes. But after we make sure that's level and make sure that it's facing the right way, Alright, so right here at this point, I'm just going to try to basically summarize everything that I've done up to this point. So first off, I mixed the mortar. The mortar is actually not too tricky to mix. All you have to do is find the right consistency of mix and of water. If it's too thin, then the mortar will balloon out the side when you try to put it on, and if it's too thick, then it won't stick. So in order to find that right consistency, we just do trial and error to add either the right amount of water or the right amount of powder until it is the correct consistency. After that, we use a trowel to make sure that it's the right consistency if it slides down. It's been a bit too dry now, but that's all right. Then after that, we're going to apply it to the wall. And before you put it on the wall, you just want to clean it to make sure that there's no contaminants that would make it stick less. And then you take a sliver of mortar, you put it down, you just sort of go along the side, and you don't have to spread it around because when you put the brick on, it's actually just going to spread it for you. So that's where we're at right now. So right now, we're going to take a level, and we're going to make sure that all the bricks are level to each other. And unfortunately, I don't think this is level. And when it's not level, we're just going to put some cement on one side or take out cement on the other. And what we're going to do after that is we're going to make sure that the space in between each brick is about a finger's width. And you can tell it's a finger's width because it's supposed to be 1/2 inch to 1 inch. So after we put the brick on, you can let it solidify, we can move on to the next brick, do whatever you want, but after a few, maybe not minutes, maybe after a few hours or just an hour, you can come back and you can fill up halfway to or a third of the way with mortar. After that dries, you can fill up the next half or a third with mortar. After that dries, you fill up the next one so that you can go all the way to the top. And then after you finish a layer, you can start on to the next one. But right now we're going to stop at 3 because I think according to city regulation, it's supposed to be, if you build something upright, if it's greater than 2 feet tall, then it requires a permit. So right now, I think this is about 2 feet tall, so it's not going to require a permit. I mean, if it's just a bit bigger, like maybe 2 inch, then we can just make the ground a bit higher. Don't tell anyone. But right now, we're just going to stop here because I think it's already good enough for the dump. So I think that's it for the mortar, actually. I think I summarized pretty much everything I learned as a beginner. Let's see. Wear glasses when you put on some mortar because when you mix it, a lot of it is just going to explode in your face. And I learned that firsthand. And it's very lucky that I wear glasses already. Wear clothes that you can get dirty. You don't care if they... Let me restate that. Wear clothes that you don't care about getting dirty. And last of all, stay hydrated because it's very hot outside. Alright, so if you didn't catch on earlier to what I was talking about when you're filling up the gaps in between each brick, it's way easier if you use 2 trowels. And what you do is you pick up some mortar, put it on, and hold on, let me switch hands. So what you want to do is you want to place it down right here, and then you want to use 1 trowel to support the backside as you fill in the gap by pushing the mortar in. So how much mortar, you ask? Well, it really depends on how fast you want to get the job done. So usually I'd recommend around 1/3, but if you want to get it done faster, maybe 1/2. And it also depends on how consistent your mortar is. So if it's thicker, try for going for 1/2. But if you're a beginner, definitely go for 1/3. You definitely don't want to rush things like this. And then when you're down there, you can see all the concrete flowing onto my pants as well. After you put the amount that you want, you can use your trowel to sort of smooth it out. And if it's not working when you put the mortar from the top and it's not ballooning out, what you can do is you can just apply it from the front. You can see, smooth. At least good enough for me, a beginner. Alright, so down here you can see on the first 2 layers that they're very old and they have they have jagged edges on them. And that's because they are actually old bricks and they were from the old retaining wall, which was under the deck. So these ones were a bit hard to work with because of the jagged edges, but you can see on top here we have new ones, and you can see right there is a stack of the new ones that we have. And technically you're supposed to make it a bit smoother and look nicer, as you can see on the river side. Like this side right here, you can see, as done by my dad, I guess you could call him a perfectionist. Pretty much all the surfaces are smooth, and all the mortar looks a bit lighter though too. I think he mixed it with less dirty water. So this is what I should aim for when I get better at using mortar and concrete. But for now, what I have is good enough, because I think, if I don't already mention this, I think we're going to cover it up on the face with concrete, as you can see on the fish pond. At least that's what I've been told. I'm not sure yet. Alright, so that's it for teaching you how to do the mortar. Not teaching you, because I'm not a professional, but showing you how I do it. So I apologize if it's a lengthy video, maybe it's 10 minutes, but that's alright. I'm a beginner, I'm rambling. If people aren't gonna watch it, I guess I'm gonna watch it. Maybe when I'm sick and in the future, and I want to regret, and I want to look back at my past videos and probably regret. But for now, I'm gonna see you then. And in the next video, I'm actually gonna talk about my plans, or not my plans, our plans for what we're gonna do with our riverside and our bamboo. And I actually said last video that we were gonna talk about bamboo in this video, but I guess it's too long now. So I'll see you in part 4. So signing out. And actually, never mind. I was gonna point out Bella, but she's behind that. And signing out. Peace.